A long, long time ago, in 1973, there was a boy called Myers.
63.
1963, not 73. 1963 was the day that Michael Myers did some drilling. He did some killing.
Oh.
This was the first time he killed. The question is, why did he kill? And that's what we're going to be answering today on the 12th episode of the Slash and Gash Horror Podcast. I'm Will. I'm here with my co-host Frank. And we've been talking about this for a very, very long time. We've got some interesting theories on this. Again, we could really be PhD students on the Halloween franchise, and especially on why Michael Myers kills. I could be a doctor like Sam Loomis, and Frank might be my nurse. The nurse from number 1.
You'd be Myers, man. I told you. I'd be Loomis.
Possibly, but which Myers would I be? Am I D-Gen Myers, or am I normal Myers?
I think you're OAP Myers, the recent one.
Oh, the old one.
Yeah, he's more brutal though. So that you got that. You're a brutal guy, isn't it?
I'd go with that. So, in all seriousness, Frank, what is your thoughts on this subject?
Well, that is the billion-dollar question that people have been asking for generations, huh? In not just the horror community, but like they ask that in Parliament every week. They ask that in religious places of worship. They ask that in press conferences. Why does Michael Myers kill? And nobody has the answer. So I feel like today we will finally answer that question. But before we do, let me set the scene for you, what I'm looking at. So, as it is spooky season, I've got the lights dimmed. I got a scented candle talking back at me. It's a gloomy day outside. Don't know if it's like that where you are, Will. But well, we're pretty close to each other, like geographically, so it probably is. It's a very cold autumn's night. The breeze is stupendous. Right, now I've set the scene. Let me drop some gospel on the horror peeps. Right. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding. Not even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what lies behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah, on it. Okay, look. On a serious note, the general consensus with the mandem out there is that why he kills is because he is purely and simply evil, right?
Like a force of nature.
Yeah, like he's just a brute force, and he's always on tier 3 in DBD. Like he's just banging people up in cells, But well, you know what? Actually, that might be true. When he was in Smith's Grove for 40 years, if we're thinking that, let's just say we're following the David Gordon Green's trilogy timeline. He was locked up for 40 years. He was banging people in cells, innit?
Fuck's sake. Well, the thing is, I feel like the franchise now is so convoluted, right? They've fucked it 6 ways from Sunday. You've obviously got the original timeline in a sense. You've got the Thorn trilogy.
Yeah.
Then you've got back to kind of the original timeline where he's hunting his family members. Well, he's always hunting his family members until the new trilogy. But because obviously in the Thorn trilogy they added this kind of like ancient Champagne, or Samhain. It's this kind of
Darwin.
ancient cultic, Gaelic religion, and he's
Yeah,
being
yeah.
controlled by a cult to kill his family members for the harvest. That's in some ways sounds cool. I feel like Halloween 6 they just kind of fucked it a bit. They kind of dropped the ball. But obviously, the original consensus from John Carpenter is that he's just this force of evil. But that don't really explain why he wants to kill his family. I don't think, because they're always the main.
It's hard to pinpoint which Mike, because when we say why does Michael Myers kill, then someone will ask us a question with a question. Which Michael Myers are you talking about? Your bums? Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Because there's so many different versions of Myers. Like you said, Rob Zombie's Myers. We know why he kills. He got bullied when he was young, and even though he was he had psychopathic tendencies. He was killing the rats and shit. He, it's fair to say, when he was getting bullied by them, other kids at school, that obviously added to his trauma in it, and he probably thought that's what made him snap. Rob Zombie's Myers anyway. That's why and obviously his household situation at home, that wasn't the best, was it? With his stepdad and his mum, not being like, she did all she could for him. Don't get me wrong, but she wasn't always around in it because she had to work for the house. Like Ronnie was always on his ass, just chilling, and she had two kids to provide for and a baby. So his mum was always, pretty much absent, and there was always shouting. So that's the classic. Even that's a real case in it. Like you can see that really happening in real life. But in terms of like the
mm,
Myers that we know, like we're gonna obviously focus on the OG Myers, isn't it? That's the real Myers for me. Like the rest that are that are around, they're still relevant, but they're not like they're like how should I say it? They're knockoff Myerses, if that makes sense.
mm.
Is that a
B-Tech
disrespect?
Myers.
Yeah, kinda. Like obviously the
Well, I
David Gordon
think
Green Myers is the OG Myers, but we're saying why does he kill? Like I think it's pretty obvious why David Gordon Green's Myers kills. For me, that's purely for revenge. They locked him up for 40 years, man. So he's so. Can you imagine his like blood boiling mad? Like once he escaped, he knew that he's got a chance here to fuck everybody up who done him wrong. 40 years. The guy was just stood there in that cell for 40 years, just waiting for that. There's that quote in it. Who's it by? It's by Loomis actually. He was waiting for this night, this very night. He was waiting for this night, and it's true. He was waiting for Halloween to break out and to fuck everybody up. But his motive in the new trilogy is, you kind of have to side with him a bit for killing people. But in the OG one, that's the actual one we're mostly focusing on today because that's the one we don't really know. Like because it's not like he was brought up in a bad household, was it?
no. I think there's something that's always missed. First and foremost, you're right. The new trilogy. He's so pissed off in that. He's so brutal. He's just out, giving it to everyone. But
Yeah.
and again, this isn't to talk about whether Myers is supernatural or not, because I kind of think in some ways he is supernatural. Because the amount of times he gets shot, all that kind of shit throughout the entire franchise. But for me, I think there's always a thing that's underlying, which is, you did psychology, you're a psychologist. You know what these things always are underlying, man. I think Myers, he wanted to bang his sister. I think he's a sex fiend, but he's impotent. He can't get a boner, so he has to use a blade. Like the OG
Ooh.
classic serial killers of this world. Now, no one ever wants to talk about that. They say, no, Myers, these women, they're on the internet. Not just women, guys as well. They always say, Daddy Myers. They want to get killed by him on DVD.
Yeah, Zaddy
But
Myers.
at the end of the day, they're thinking that he's this sexy guy, but he actually can't get a boner. That's my guess.
I mean, I know it sounds like you're saying something for bands, but I agree with you though. Like for people listening who thinks like he's joking, well, he's not because we actually have said this for years. Like it appears, yeah, like when he was young. I feel like it stems from when he was fucking about outside near the bushes. And then
When
he
he
probably
watched him like shagging and stuff.
he wasn't watching him shagging, but he probably, they call that guy the 1 minute man, innit? The guy who just comes up 1 minute and leaves. They call him the 1 minute man, the guy with the
He's a
specs.
quick BSI.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't think he saw her getting fucked, but him hearing her getting fucked somehow appears to have triggered something inside him. Like, I don't know what it is. Even though he was he was 6, wasn't he? How old was he when in 1963?
6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's 21 in 1978, isn't it? Yeah, so 6 years old. I mean, he's still very fucking young, though. So I don't know what would have triggered him at that age, man. But
Yeah, that might not be true. That might be. Maybe he's just a force of evil.
a bit of both, actually. Like, I mean, I guess the protective instinct probably knocked in. Like, I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Because like when he goes upstairs and he grabs the mask, and then his sister's so shocked to see him, and she's like, "Michael," and then he's like, "How dare you get fucked by him? Not under my watch, you bitch! Fucking have it!" Then he fucking stabs her in the tits. He's like, "I just don't give a shit." I know, obviously. Look, John Carpenter's. Even probably John Carpenter doesn't really know in it. Like, I bet even he doesn't know. He just made a film in it. He did not know that this fucking $300,000 low budget horror film was gonna be the fucking beast it is today in the slasher genre horror, zeitgeist. But in terms of like, I feel like once there obviously was something evil in him for him to do that. But I feel like the push he needed to kill his sister was him getting triggered by the guy, the 1 minute man, pounding his sister, isn't it? At the end of the day, his sister is going to be protective of her, whether he's like
Why did
6
he
or
stab her up?
what.
So why did he stab her up? Why did he go after his sister later on? He's just a freak, man. He's a fiend. He was at P Diddy's parties. You don't know it, but he was.
Well, I think I can answer that for you. I feel like it's because he was meant to be trick or treating with her, but she thought, obviously, she's probably what 17, 18 or 16. I don't know. He felt abandoned and neglected by her because he was meant to be trick or treat. She was meant to be trick or treating with her, but instead she thought, I'm going to do the dance with no pants because my parents are out. Why not? So instead, he was just outside by himself. He found out that not only did she not come trick or treating with me, she also was doing shit that she was not meant to be doing. So he was so pissed off, even though he is 6. Yes, granted he's 6, but he was so pissed off that he just, when you get pissed off in it, like you don't think in it that the anger is the devil's. It's the devil taking over in it when you're angry. Not to get too deep on it, but
the devil. What? The devil is everywhere.
yeah, exactly. And then he grabs the knife from the drawer, goes upstairs. He just, in that point, bro, he did not see his sister. He just saw someone who
Pissed him off.
done him wrong.
So you
And
think
that's
he's
why he
just
killed her.
emotional then? Like he's actually just always pissed off? So maybe he's
Um,
not a fiend of the sexual deviancy. Maybe he's just a pissed off guy.
yeah, I think so. I feel like, well, look, when you used to go trick or treating back in the day, you didn't go with your family members, did you? You probably went with your boys, innit? Like from local.
Yeah.
Like you used to link up with them, innit? He probably never had any friends in school. He never made any friends.
So he never did any of the fun stuff like egging windows.
Nah, he probably
What
just.
I remember? I egged this guy's house and my mum made me clean him off. It was awful. I felt so embarrassed.
Wait, you egg someone's house?
Yeah, I egged someone's house and then my mum got pissed off and made me go and clean it all off.
No way. Did you wear your mask though when you cleaned it?
No. She just took me down there and I felt so embarrassed.
Damn.
That's some deep law when I was a mischievous boy.
Damn. I mean, your mum making you do that. That's I mean, I'm
That's
not gonna.
punishment, isn't it?
I mean, look, your mum knows best, but damn, that's you learned the hard way.
Yeah, it was rough, man.
But yo, so, what's your thoughts though? Like, so obviously, he continues on the rampage in Halloween 2. So what's driving him in that one? Is it still the fact that he couldn't get Laurie in the first one, so he just is it more to do with him missing, because he managed to get everyone that he needed to get in the first one, didn't he? He got Linda, he got Annie, he got Bob.
Yeah, but if you take Halloween 2, that's his sister, so she was the original target, right? And if you remember correctly, in Halloween 2, he wrote on that school. Do you remember that he breaks into the school and he writes on the wall Samhain or Samhain, which is the ancient.
Oh yeah.
So realistically, like, I've always thought, obviously earlier taking the piss a bit, having some bants, saying he's a sex fiend, but I've always genuinely thought there was some kind of ancient supernatural motivation behind it, because he's this kid, he's been in a mental asylum forever. How the fuck did he learn about Samhain, Samhain? How did he learn about that? How did he learn about the ancient origins of Halloween unless there was some, like, the cult of Thorn controlling him, or some kind of dark spirit straight from Stonehenge, straight out of Stonehenge, possessed him or something. And he's kind of like, so he wants to kill his family for some reason, but there is kind of a darker, more evil, more sinister motivation as well.
Like
on the side.
the powers that be, like in his world, were sort of like controlling him, but not literally. But there was a voice, not to like quote Randy Orton, but like there was a voice inside his head in it, like not even a literal voice, but something that made him go so into that zone where all he had to do was kill. It's like
That's why he's unstoppable.
It's an unstoppable force. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know how we need to eat to survive. He don't need to eat. He needs to kill to survive. And I hate this quote because Laurie's the one who said it, but she says that quote in it in Halloween Kills, and I do agree with it, where she says something like, the more he kills, the more he transcends.
The more he gets, he becomes so much more powerful. Like, that's why he's so unstoppable. He's a beast. He's like Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
Do you know what though? Now it makes sense. Look, you know how much I don't like Halloween Ends. I know how much you don't like Halloween Ends. It almost doesn't even exist in the franchise for us. But do you think that makes kind of sense now? He didn't kill for 4 years in that film. From 20, I think it's a 4-year jump in it. From 2018 to 2024, a 5-year jump, I think. No, 2022. Fuck knows, I can't remember. There's a bit of a jump though. But he wasn't killing, was he? So he became weaker. So it does make a bit of sense why he became a bit. He's in the fucking cave, innit? Deteriorating like an old bastard.
Ends, man. I don't class that as part of the franchise.
No, same here, but
it's a piece of art, man. David Gordon Green took a shit on the floor and by his kills. Okay? They fucked that, man. Fuck that film. It don't even count.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
So that's why I've always wondered. I just feel like there's a supernatural element to him, even though it's never really kind of properly.
It's never really been. What's the word, like? Ever. Well, until the Thorn trilogy, yeah. But if you don't count Thorn, if you just count 1 and 2, and even H2 and Resurrection don't really say it, do they?
In 1 and 2, you could argue in some ways that he's just more man than anything, right? Because
it's never really been proven until you get to 4 and 5.
Exactly. Like I think that's why John Carpenter decided to throw it in there. I think he had an idea for the Samhain thing. Yeah. But I'll say that because obviously it's spelt Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
But I just genuinely feel like they always had an idea for that. Because at the end of the day, he's this unstoppable killer. He's getting shot multiple times. He's getting shot in the eyes. He gets burned. He just keeps coming back forever. Like, that should be a reason for that. That's more than a man. Now, at least with Jason, you get instantly, right, he's, super strong, but then he dies and they bring him back as a zombie. So it's kind of cookie cutter. But with Myers, they've never explained it, which kind of pisses me off in some ways. I know people like it, to be vague, but
I like it, bro. I do.
know.
No, I like it. I like that they haven't ever explained it. I feel like no. That's why we like Michael, man. We don't just like Michael because he kills and kills and kills. I love me personally. Why I love Michael Myers so much is because of that ambiguity that exists in that world. Because we do not know why he kills exactly the reason why. I feel like you should never know because sometimes you got to leave it to the theater of the mind. Like I know that phrase is used so many times, but sometimes you just got to leave it to the viewer's interpretation. Otherwise, we wouldn't really even be having this conversation, Rihanna. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that is why Myers works, bro. I know you said it pisses you off, and I get that, but for me personally, I do like that. I don't mind one or two films where they kind of touch on it, like 4, 5, and 6, where you find out he is completely supernatural, and then he tries to tie his niece into it, and and then he needs her baby to continue the legacy of the curse. I get that. That's fine.
No, they fucked that up. They fucked up because the point was there is some kind of like a curse that takes him over, and it means he has to kill his family to end the bloodline to kind of like pacify the gods for like the harvest. But then for some random reason, like he just decides to impregnate his niece and create another bloodline. Like they were smoking crack, when they wrote that film. They must have been.
Yeah, no. It's Do you know when we did that franchise ranking though, innit? So we said that, innit? Like there's so much shit out of the good. Like there's more shit than good. Like there's the good, the bad, and the downright horse shit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've always said I've always got a soft spot for Halloween 6. So maybe not the producer's cut, but the theatrical cut. So like with the head explosion and all that. I always
Yeah.
liked that film. But I always thought it was retarded. I know we probably spoke about it before, but how Paul Rudd killed him with a pipe never made no sense. That
Mm.
Why
The
did he
only
get killed by?
reason I allow that is because it is Paul Rudd. And he
I
became
get that.
he
Was
from
anyone
there
else?
he became Brian Fantana. So if it wasn't for that scene,
What's
he
he
wouldn't be
called?
Brian Fantana.
What about the guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin?
David, his name, isn't it?
David. Yeah. See that? It's the ass of a free man.
Yeah. What's he say? What else did he say? He's like, you missing that ass, huh? You missing that ass? Yeah. What are you gonna do, huh? To that guy? You're gonna suck him? Huh? I bet you're doing this, huh? You better do a whole lot of this. He does it right to the camera. Oh my god, I love them films. But I know, obviously, going back to what we were saying, like, oh yeah, he wouldn't also be Ant-Man, bro. You know what? Halloween has had a mad impact on his. I hope he realizes that if it wasn't for Halloween 6, he would not be Ant-Man. And it's true.
Yeah,
It's
true.
fair to say that, isn't it?
I'm surprised he never came back for the franchise, man. He should have done. Maybe the next one.
I don't. You know what though? That role in Kills, obviously, it was played by Anthony Michael Hall in it, which.
You trying to be Jason Statham, man.
Don't get me wrong.
You reminded me of Phil Mitchell.
Don't get me wrong. Anthony Michael Hall is a good actor, but he was miscast for me. It should have been someone like Brock.
I feel like it should have been Danny Dyer.
No, it should have been Vinnie Jones.
Just imagine they start fighting at the end, and then Laurie comes out and says, "Mick, he's your brother." Oh, sorry, Tommy, he's your brother. And then we get that.
That actually would be fucking hilarious. Shirley turned into Laurie.
Yeah,
For all you Brits listening, you know what we're on about.
EastEnders.
Yo, on a side note though, Dean came back.
He's still alive. Oh,
I
wow.
ain't watching it, but I saw a clip of it. Dean came back and he actually admitted to doing the dirty on Linda 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. And what? And they've still got Mick dead?
Mick's still apparently dead.
They'll bring him back.
They'll bring him back, yeah. Obviously, when he needs, when he goes bankrupt a bit and he needs some dosh, they'll bring him back.
In some ways, Danny Dyer is kind of like a Michael Myers. He just never dies.
He can't, innit? He's like, I am fucking shitting myself. What have I got myself into? And
that's me whenever I watch a new Myers film. I
do miss Myers on the big screen, I know the trilogy was dead. First one was good. Second one was just good for the kills. The third one was not even
I
I do
when,
miss seeing Myers on the screen though.
we don't know when the next one will be. Though probably be a few years now.
Yeah.
Someone told
Well,
Mustafa.
it's a TV show coming out, isn't it? First.
I think it's a load of old shit.
Well, but what would you if so? I mean, look, going back to what we were saying though, like for me, there's a variety of reasons why he kills. To sum up,
Indeed.
sexual frustration. I feel like that. Jokes aside, it is a factor. I do
It could
genuinely
be there.
feel it is. What?
It's there. He's a fiend.
Yeah. Like, so me and him have that comparison. Me and him are similar in some ways.
What, are you frustrated?
No, well, no comment.
The question is deprived or deprived?
Both. He's institutionalized, isn't he? Because they think he's got a mental illness, when in fact he's just an evil bastard. And I feel like he's also pissed. He also kills more when he escapes because he's trying to get back at Loomis for failing him. Do you think there's something onto that?
Well, you could say in that Rob Zombie's Halloween, that kind of fits in, doesn't it? Because Jeremy's like, "Oh, take me, Michael, take me," and he just fucking goes, and he grabs him. Like, this isn't the first one. He squeezes his head, like in the director's cut. So I feel like maybe that's true. He's pissed off. He thought, after all these years, you've been fucking bugging me in these interviews, trying to like make me better. Oh, I don't want to be saved. I like killing. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, actually. He's like, I like what I do. It gives me satisfaction. Leave me alone. That is
So
true.
yeah, it might be because he's pissed off at Loomis actually for giving up on him, or maybe not giving up on him.
And I rate Zombie for actually putting that scene in. Like, his Zombie obviously knew like Loomis isn't completely blameless. He's not this saint that he's not this saint. Especially, I mean, he's definitely not a saint in the Zombies world, but he's such an innocent soul in it. In John Carpenter's 1 and 2, and he's almost got he sacrifices himself for the evil to die in 2.
Yeah, but he always does some mad shit. Remember in 4, he was about to shoot Jamie at the end. No!
Yeah, I love that scene.
5, he grips her up and uses her as like a bait. He's a fucked up guy, man. He don't give a fuck.
No, but you understand why he wanted to kill her, innit? Because he went through 2 films to kill the evil, and he did not want to go through that shit again, man. Do you know what I mean? Imagine how much of a psychological toll it must have taken on his health.
True.
Do you know what I mean? The guy was already old as it is.
Would you do that thing that he does in 2, where he's like, at the end?
Oh, when he's in the room, the boiler room. What's he do? What he's saying to Laurie? Get out now. Get out now. Go on, get out. What does he say? What does he say to Myers? What's that line that he says to Myers just before he presses the lighter?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, what is it? It's such a sick line. Doesn't he say like "Goodbye, Michael" or something? Doesn't he say something like "See you in hell"?
Yeah, something like that.
See you in hell.
See you after, yeah.
What about the way, bro? Let's just mention the way he burns. Like, oh my god! Like, obviously that's Dick Warlock in the actual suit, the fire suit. That's so good. The way he walks out and he's still walking, even though he's on fire. He's engulfed. The man's still walking like Kane, man. And obviously he falls, but he dies on his own shield, innit? Like, that's why for me, yeah, if I had to pick a sequel that I would watch and no others existed, it just would be 1 and 2. It's just a perfect sequel, isn't it?
The best, man.
It's just one big film, innit? It's one big film, like 1 and 2, 3 hours.
Halloween 2 is the best.
No doubt. Oh yeah, Halloween 2 is your number 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get why. It is sick. They upped the gore in it as well. They saw how successful Jason was in Friday came out in 1980, didn't it?
Mm.
And they saw how successful it was to have a bit of more blood.
Oh
So
yeah.
they obviously added a bit more blood, with more like more violent kills. You barely see any blood in Halloween 1, do you?
None at all, really.
I mean, I don't mind that. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind it. But in the 80s was, if they were going to compete with Friday and, Nightmare, they had to put a bit more blood.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, what's your summary on why Michael Myers kills?
To summarise, I would say that Myers is most likely a pervert who has been indoctrinated with the ancient evil. That's my guess. Because, as you know, the original thing of like the slasher genre, if you start banging, he's going to kill you. Think about Halloween 2, right? They start trying to shag in that jacuzzi. He's
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
You are getting it. That's what he's on. And so I just think he's a sexual pervert with a
He is.
deep, dark, he's like possessed by the darkness.
He's the ultimate cock block.
And
He's
why does he
Mr.
do that?
He's Mr. Cock block
He does that because he's pissed off.
because he's not getting any.
Mm.
But you know what's mad? I bet under that mask in 1978, he's probably a good-looking guy. We see him in it, like obviously the guy who's actually playing him. The face we see is Tony Moran, isn't it? That's opening up a whole new kind of worms, which we'll touch on, I'm sure, in the future. But like, the guy wasn't a bad-looking guy in 1978. I'm sure
No.
he would have got some poo, he would have got some. If he just tried a bit, he would have got some action, man. Some
Yeah, but he
action.
didn't understand how because he's got the mind of do you remember in Halloween Kills he has the mind of a child or something?
Oh, don't fuck no, man. Fuck them lot. They pulled that one out of their asshole, man. I don't know. They pulled that line out of their ass.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know what that even means. What does
Like
that
hit me
even
with a
mean?
conclusion then. What's your conclusion? Why do you think he does it?
Well, I agree a lot with you, but like I said, in it, it's there's three reasons mainly. One, he's pissed off that they locked him up because he feels like it wasn't justified. So he's having revenge. Two, he's sexually repressed and frustrated. So whenever someone's gonna get some some sugar, vice versa, he can't let that happen. Even though if he's not going to do anything himself, he can't let that happen. And three, this obviously is very the theme is very prevalent in mostly all of the films, and that he just is evil. Michael Myers just is. Do you know what I mean? He just is what he is, and that is
Evil incarnated.
he is an embodiment, a walking embodiment of what evil is to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what he is for me. He is evil. And that's why his nickname, the Shape. Like he hides in corners, isn't it? And then when you least expect it, he pounces on you, and he's like, "Give us your fucking bag, you bitch! Damn it!" It stabs you right in the ass. You know what though? This TV show, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I just hope they don't go too deep into the law and they're trying to explain what does make him evil. Because, like, I know you like that they explain it, but like I said earlier, I do like a bit of mystery. Because we shouldn't be spoon fed everything, man. We should be given our own thoughts and imagination to think about these things.
That's very true.
Otherwise, we're just going to be so dependent on everyone telling us what we should think, and then we'll never know. Then we'll never, progress and evolve. Because at the end of the day, evolution is a mystery.
Yeah.
You get me?
Oh, well, guys, I know this has been a bit of a random episode where we kind of just yapped a bit, but make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Slash and Gash podcast, and we'll be back very soon. Probably next week or the week after with another.
Well, we'll
possibly
be reviewing Terrifier 3, won't we?
Yeah. So yeah. Peace out.
What we're going to do is we plan to hopefully Terrifier 3 comes out this Friday. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to do an out of cinema review whilst me and Will are just making our way home. We're going to do a review, like a quick one, just to let you guys know our instant thoughts, and that'll be up on the next episode after this one. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, and girls. Why does Michael Myers kill? What makes him who he is? Why does he? What gives him the demon inside him? What drives him to be this force of nature? Only you guys can tell us the true answer. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. Like Wilson, likes, share, subscribe, and we will be back very soon. Stay spooky. Huh?